Take off! It's time for Doug and Ben's Great NASCAR Adventure!
Thanks again, Marshall. Reporting from the infield.
That's probably the most excitement all weekend, in my eyes. But anyway.
Yep. So, welcome to NasCanucks. I'm Ben. He's Doug. We are NASCAR's live podcast right here on YouTube. Don't pay attention to those imitators that are based out of the southeast of the U.S. and actually hang out with team members and shops and stuff. Nah, we got it all right here. I'm telling you. Anyway, we are out in Sonoma coverage this weekend. Wine country, if you will.
Well, we aren't. We aren't. They were.
They were.
Yes.
Well, we as in the NASCAR community. We descended on, right?
Okay. Yes.
Apparently Boyer didn't even want to go. He's just like, I'm good.
Yeah, he had something else going on. Yeah.
Yeah, like he just, he was like the kid who didn't even show up for the last day of school. He's like, I'm already on vacation, bitches.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So we had Larry Mack in the booth instead, which I don't mind that. Throwback, if you will. I miss having Larry Mack in the booth. So that was nice. And we had 3 series, 2 of which were on TV, because apparently Arca West, who knows, probably 4 cars drove around, and one was twice as fast as all the rest.
Yep.
That's how that works. That brings us into trucks, which, because it's a road course, NASCAR modifies the location of the start-finish line for scoring, because it doesn't matter. Wherever the line is, a lap's a lap. Mm-hmm. So they just moved it basically going right into turn 10 or right out of turn 10. It's in turn 10. Yep. So you can then just right down into the pit road entrance, which actually the highlight of one of the races was how much time you can make up entering to the pit road area. Looking at you, Ross Chastain. He made up a lot of time.
But he wouldn't try and dive bomb something like that, would he?
Well, he combined the idea of entering pit road as quickly as possible, combined with Carl Edwards at Kansas one year.
Yes.
He bombed her in there and just kind of rode that wall around to pit road.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, started with the truck qualifying, which everyone's out there, they're doing Group A and Group B, and Alex Bowman's driving in the 7 truck, and his whole team's like, you're in Group A. He's like, no, I'm in Group B. They're like, no, you got to get in the truck and get out there. And then as soon as he got out there, NASCAR came on the radio. You're in Group B. He's like, that's what I told the team. They're like, perfect. So it's just a heat cycle in the engine is all.
Yeah.
And with the 2 groups going, top 5 from each group goes into a group of 10 for the first 5 rows including the pole. Included in that was Hailie Deegan driving the Monster Energy #1 Ford F-150, which all of a sudden it was like she's the second coming of Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, and David Personal. Right? Oh, she was finally showing her talent.
Well, she kind of scolded all the guys because she said, no, you guys got to start driving better. And don't wreck me. Yes.
Like driving better as in passing her all the time? Because it's not like everybody wrecks her as they pass her.
No, I don't know.
And who's everybody that wrecks her? She's running in 25th.
Maybe she was talking about her spotter.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Maybe you don't have a flat black truck. Maybe it's something bright that other spotters can see, perhaps, because if you're blaming the other drivers, I'm just saying. Maybe have a higher definition truck. Just saying. Kurt Busch doesn't get run over all the time. I don't know. So, we also I had misreported, got to apologize, folks. I misreported last week that Kyle Busch had already finished his year in the trucks. Nope, turns out one more at Sonoma. Which, pull down those straps, and the spotter just say, hey, it's your last chance this year. He goes, I hear you. You never won here before. He goes, I know. I'd like to check some boxes, keep that win streak going. And so, we got into the race. And it was a lot of, there's low passes here and there, but not really passes for the lead per se. No. Strategies involved. And I don't know, long story short, Kyle Busch won the race. Yeah, pretty much.
A lot of spins.
Yeah, he didn't have the dominant truck. He got into the lead. Like him and the 66 and the 16, Ty Majeski in the 6. He kind of cooked it. KB took advantage, and then it's KB, right? To now extend his streak in trucks of 10 years in a row of winning at least one race. Damn you, 2012, as he said, because he went winless that one year. Yeah. It's the only year he didn't win in trucks. Won at Sonoma for the first time, won in a truck on a road course for the first time, checking lots of boxes. Not that there's a lot of boxes left to check. Mm-hmm. Like, I think he's on about his 15th Sharpie checking boxes at this point in his career.
Yeah.
But, and it was funny because, when they're racing, he's like, oh, cool, right on.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh, all right, well, that worked. So,
he at least could have said Yahoo when he won, but
he could have had a sponsor, but instead, not so much. He wasn't excited that much. I don't know.
He did
also mention they reconfigured. We touched on it last week. They flattened the curb going out of turn 4. Flattened it more. It's not flat because you can still hear a little.
Well, it's because it was for the cup cars.
For the cup cars, yes. Not for the trucks. The trucks are already up high. They're trucks.
Yeah.
But for the cup cars. And also, they got rid of the carousel. So you go from 4A straight across to turn 7, which is everything except for the last 2 years, they said. But I was like, did they even race there the last 2 years that much? Because California and...
No.
I don't think so.
No.
So, I don't know. Maybe that was back 2018 and 19, I guess.
Maybe.
I am not... That's a long time ago. And based off lifestyle choices, I don't remember. So that brings us into the cups, the cup cars, cup guys, which saw the rare thing at the start of the race, which you touched on, which we're off air, but Cody Ware apparently had such a cheated up car. He failed 4 times inspection.
Failed 3.
Okay, 3. And then he actually had to follow the pace car down pit road as they dropped the green.
Yes.
Not that it really mattered. I don't think his dad, Rick Ware, of Rick Ware Racing, took all the IndyCar knowledge from their program and put it into the cup car. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
But of the fact that I don't know if he ever actually passed inspection, but it sounds like he got a points penalty.
So it looks like he's probably in the negative now, I think, for points because he did get 20 driver and owner points. I don't think he had that much really to begin with.
Yeah. If he's in fact negative points, not the first time.
Well, I'm looking
at you, Michael Waltrip. Michael Waltrip had 150 points for several months to start season because he got caught cheating the opening round at Daytona and then failed to make the race for the next 2 months.
Yeah. There's a little bit of jet fuel. That's all.
Just a little.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure if Cody Ware is actually negative points. I'm just saying that because
he probably doesn't have a lot because he cannot see the playoff cutoff line. Like he needs to win to get in,
and then jump a whole bunch of spots.
Because win won't get you in. Come to think, we know that. And speaking of which, so throughout the race, you said there was 6 passes for the lead.
6 passes for the lead, none of which were on track.
Which, you know what? We've had that happen over the last couple years. I remember last year there was it the Charlotte? It might have even been the 600 last year. There was no pass for lead on track, only in the pits.
Well, that was like that, in 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
16.
16?
16.
That's just because someone was just too good.
Yeah. So, it happens. So, we did have the revolving game twice of loose wheels. First one, which I don't know if I ever heard about the penalty. Oh yeah, there was penalty at the stage end. That's right. Chickaboo there in the 9 car.
Yes.
Decided to leave on the drop of the jack, but the wheel wasn't on necessarily. So wait, back it up.
He did a good job of stopping to come back.
Yep.
Just
nobody had to jump on the windshield or anything like that.
Just far enough. He didn't go far enough.
that's the thing. You got the wheels in the pit stall, but not the nose of the car, which is where the line is, the front of the entire car. So servicing the car outside the pit box. And then, his teammate, Larson, said, hey, guess what? I'm going to try 3 lug nuts. And they went, well, Doug, previous years, if someone said, let's try 3 lug nuts, it'll save us some pit time. Let's go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which was fine because it was 3 lug nuts on a wheel that held 5 normally.
Yes.
Not on a car that only has 4 total. And he made it almost a turn 2.
Well, and I like the fact, I don't know if you're listening to the radio, heard any of their radio on that, was that the pit box had no idea that they lost a wheel. The spotter had to tell them.
Yep. And I think that was around that time the crew member looked inside the impact gun and went, there's a lug nut.
Yeah.
Because that happened to somebody else during the race, but they caught it in time.
Yep.
Because, the guy hit it, but the lug didn't engage and went, and brought it back and went, there's nothing there. And so it's part of the indexing issue that we need to put onboard jacks on these cars, folks. If you're allowed to have telemetry, because Larry Mack is going, yeah, you can see throttle position, brake position, steering, all this stuff of all the teams. It's all live data. Let's get jacks on the cars then. If we're going to do that, let's have onboard jacks. So as a result, Larson's crew chief, because he runs things, 4 races. Jackman, why? Because the car leaves on the dropping of the jack, so that's his fault. Gone. And who is the knucklehead that didn't put the lug nut on? Oh, right, the front tire changer. You're gone for 4 weeks too. And normally teams will try to appeal it, but there's no appeal. We didn't put the lug nut on.
They are suspended through New Hampshire.
Sure. I haven't looked at the schedule, but I know they're already trying to figure out who's going to be on the pit box for Larson at Nashville. Could it be Chad Knaus?
I was just going to say, Mr. Laptop.
Yep. Which, you know what? If you're Jeff Gordon, sorry, but if you're Jeff Gordon running Hendrick and you have Chad on the payroll, I'd be like, Chad, grab your laptop. You're going to Nashville. He's like, I don't do that anymore. Who signs your paycheck? You do. Pack your bags. But we're not going to be competitive. I don't have that laptop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Go to ID and hook up with a laptop. No, they can't. Not that one.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of people still on the payroll, found out Friday night, got to listen to an interview with Cole Pern, and he is actually still on the payroll at Gibbs.
Yes.
He's part of the aerodynamic team.
Which is probably he's doing CAD stuff, like I said to you. He's probably working from home, video conferencing.
Yeah, and he is kind of in contact with the team during the race.
Sure.
And it was. I kind of laughed about it, and we're getting away from the race, but I still kind of laughed at the interview because he was with Claire B. Lang, and she was all excited to have him. You got to be excited to come back to the track and all of this, and and she was really pumping it and getting it in. And in typical Cole fashion, he just said, "Well, yeah, I was kind of gonna go to a race at some point anyway, so I guess might as well just do it now because I'm just going
to him."
Going BC down to California, so yeah, it's really no real big deal. Just kind of coming in, and then she was like, "Well, have you talked to James Small about what you're going to be doing?" And he's like, "No, he hasn't really told me what I'm just here. He hasn't told me what I'm going to be doing yet."
Right.
And so
well, it's like when we go to the races. The guys are setting up the tent. We're standing there. They're going to ask us to help. That's more or less, he's just showing up anyways. He's like, I guess they're going to give me a pit pass. I guess I can do some work while I'm there. Yeah. Which is fine. So, a variety of people, led here and there. Hey, Keith. And we got, and it was weird. Like, I was thinking about it as the race unfolded, Doug. I thought to myself, when we did the predictions for this race, at some point we should mention Daniel Suarez. Like, the guy does know how to road race. Oh, yeah. And especially with the cars being much more equal this year. His teammates won twice this year, dirty, but still won twice this year. And we've mentioned Suarez earlier this year saying, he's due. Yep. And so,
we had Busher up there at the front.
We had Busher up front, which I was slagging last week. I think he was watching. I forgot to mention that. I was going to text you. I think Busher watched the show. What's up?
Harvick.
Chris? Is it Chris or James?
That'd be Chris.
Chris, right. Say hey to James for me.
Harvick was running up there.
Harvick, again. I think the memo went out, Doug, after last week's show.
Until Harvick was running up front until, as he said on his radio, we turned into a bunch of wankers and we shit the bed again.
Yep. It happens.
Yeah, but
it happens. And it was funny, like Tony Stewart had to mention it, it was like they dropped the green flag, and who are running nose to tail? Chastain and Hamlin.
I also like that they had Stewart talk to Hamlin at the start because of their past at Sonoma.
Yep. Yeah, that was good. And and they're like, "Oh, so do you think Hamlin's going to pay him back today?" He says, "No. He said he was going to do it when it's going to count. So this doesn't count." Hey, Terry. Yeah, exactly. We screw up every week in the pits.
Yep.
That's been. It doesn't matter what team Harvick drives for. Harvick complains about the team in the pits. See, that's crews fired over the years as a result.
Yeah,
but
early Hamlin got into Blaney, and then that went through the spotter to tell the spotter to tell Blaney.
Sorry, and Blaney went, sure.
Yeah, I somehow I don't think he's sincere.
Yeah. Which, seeing the replay, he was locked up pretty good.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
I don't think and it was early in the race. I don't think Hamlin meant anything by it.
No.
It's like, who picks on Ryan Blaney? What did Ryan ever do to anybody, right? It's like the most chill guy in the garage.
Yes, yeah. But
it's like, if you got an issue with Ryan Blaney, you got to look in the mirror, Bubba Lou. You got an issue, all right.
Yeah.
And so, Daniel Suarez got into the lead for the third and final stage and drove his ass off because guys were catching him at times, and that car was loose. It was kind of neat because they had the roof cam on Chastain following Suarez and the in-car split screen of Suarez, and Suarez is doing this, and I'm watching the ass end doing this, and they're like, I think he's loose. I'm like, I think he is.
Yeah.
I like the victory. Apparently he swore in victory lane, but it was in Spanish because he apologized, but we don't know. We don't know. No, we're not knowing. He did do a dig at his former employer.
Kinda.
Yeah. Which, you know what? I understood because I remember when we saw Suarez, we were coming out of Gibbs, and remember he was walking in, and there was somebody parked in his parking spot, and he had to park out on the road down the street and walk in with his girlfriend.
Yep.
And I went, wow, he doesn't get a lot of respect around here. And that kind of...
But was that dig at Gibbs, or was it at SHR?
I thought it was at Gibbs. I think it was against Gibbs.
No.
He thinks Gibbs gave up on him a year or two early.
Same thing could be said of SHR giving up on him as well, right?
That's true. That's true.
But because, we talked about it before with Gibbs, is that he was kind of thrust into that car real quick because of Carl Edwards.
Yes. Yeah, he was moved up a year too early.
No, Edwards go into the car after Suarez.
Good question.
I think because they still had the Era sponsor who came with Suarez.
And of course Stuart Haas was they weren't forced into Cole Custer. He was
family
on the paywall since day one. Daddy's like president of the company.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've never seen that before, have we, Austin Cindric? No. Or Paul Menard? That was just, my dad's a billionaire. We got lots of people with dads with millionaires. No, that's with a B. Oh.
And he's got a sponsor. And we got a sponsor.
Yep. Exactly. So, Yeah, but Suarez, and they threw the taco pinata down in
First
front
I've
of the
ever
car.
seen a taco pinata on the truck and throw it in front of the car.
Well, they wanted him to run it over to destroy it, I think,
Yeah.
but due to clearance issues, that's
Yeah.
what. But then when he punched through it, and then he threw it down the ground. Some guy picked it up, wore it as a hat. I was like, all right, sure.
And was it Stuart was like, I like that better because we can actually pick that stuff up and eat it
Yeah,
instead of like the watermelon that's destroyed on the track.
festering in the oils and the rubbers, and
Yep.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it was funny. We didn't mention the placing of the watermelon in the 11 hauler.
I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't see? Oh, yeah. Apparently, there was cameras, and they saw a watermelon sitting in the 11 hauler, and so Mike Joy had surmised that it must have been a peace offering from Ross Chastain towards Denny Hamlin. Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just the 11 team. They were having some fun. They decided to just randomly stick a watermelon in view, that you, just as you open the door, hey, is that a watermelon in there? Ah, heads exploding in the press. Yeah, they were fucking with them.
Yeah. And I can see Denny doing that. I can see Denny being the one starting that.
Went to Ross, and they're like, so you gave Denny a peace offering? He goes, I did what? He's, no.
Well,
Yeah, the apology melon. Nothing says I'm sorry like a watermelon.
how about Bubba Wallace blowing up early?
Yeah, like fully grenading, and didn't do any. He said no mischief, nothing. Like, yeah, I don't know. Well, is Toyota, because we know Toyota was seemed to be down on power at the beginning of the year, and then they stepped it up. Are they pushing things a little further? I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. Because that was a home race for them, right?
What?
Being based out of California.
Who?
Toyota.
Yes. I was like, wait, Chastain? No.
Toyota.
Not a lot of watermelons being grown in the desert, Doug.
But
Toyota's based out of wherever they happen to be based out of, right? It seems. Wherever it's convenient to be based out of.
TRD is based out of California.
California, yeah. Yeah, I think their big influence was out for Fontana. I think that was where they had the big presence. But they've had presence. They usually had the big Toyota letters there over on one of the hills.
Yeah, because this used to be the Toyota Save Mart 250 or something like that.
350.
Well.
Yes.
That'd be it. Yeah. So,
which I never understood. The 350. I'm like, is it 350 miles? No. 350 kilometers? Still no. So what's the I don't know. It just sounds good.
Yeah.
Laps?
Nope. So. So yeah.
So other than that, yeah, it was an easy weekend, and actually, typical. So I got the IndyCar race since we got time, Doug.
Oh yeah.
Broadcast starts on lap 2. That's rather typical of an IndyCar race.
Mm-hmm.
Under caution, because Jimmy Johnson. It's fun, apparently. Missed it, but it was Road America, and we love Road America. And one guy, he was talking, they're like, what's one of the toughest corners? He's like, the fastest corner on the circuit, the kink at Road America. He went a little wide. He did not hit the wall, but man, he was on the sod for like half a mile. It's just, he's like, you don't know how many bumps are under that grass. I was like, oh, I know. 350K. Well, there we are. Hey, there's Guitar Man 45.
Speaking of Road America,
mm-hmm.
Signed on for team. Oh, I just forgot the name now. But in the 08 for the rest of the road courses this year, Andy Lally.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
that's good. He was up in the booth this weekend for the truck race too.
Yes, he was. Yeah, but he'll be with all of the rest of the road courses. So Road America, Indy, the Roval, and Watkins Glen.
Right. Yeah, because they've already done Portland, Coda. No. Okay.
No, Coda, and where they just were.
Right, Sonoma.
That'd be it.
Yeah, I like Andy Lally. He's other than they kept calling the trucks cars, which I get it, but like, yeah, NASCAR is big on that. Call them trucks. Same chassis as the Xfinity car underneath, just different body hung on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
we should mention too, from the truck race, Carson Hocevar broke his leg in that crash, and as such, qualified the truck. They had Daniel Suarez as a relief driver.
well, here's the way, because I was kind of following this story Friday night as it was going on, because I was driving your area to go to Cornhole this weekend.
Right.
So it come out that NASCAR had him get in and out of the truck like 25 times to make sure he could actually do it.
Yeah.
And then they had him doing some other stuff in the car, like 20 in the truck 25 times. And he was like all confused. So then they cleared him to practice.
Right.
And he went to practice. And then they had to do a whole bunch of stuff to then clear him to qualify.
Yeah.
Then he had to do a bunch more stuff to clear him to.
It's probably just because he is such a young guy too.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not some new safety measures. Yeah, but the weird thing was they didn't wait till the end of the stage or even a caution. Well, yeah, they didn't wait for a caution. They did it under green after 10 laps. And even Carson was kind of confused by it but the team's like, no, we're going to pull him after 10 laps. Why? Why after 10? Like, I understand if he's going, guys, I can't go much longer. Fine. You pull him in, you do the switch. Yep. But Carson said, I probably could have finished the stage. Once the adrenaline's going and stuff, you're okay. But he says, I could have finished the stage. Yeah. So instead, they went down 2 laps, and then Suarez managed to get the truck back up to 6 to finish. Well, guess what? You didn't lose 2 laps. You might have won the damn race.
Yeah.
So, by Rock.
Yep. So now all eyes are on the Truck Series this weekend.
Thank you.
All eyes are on the Truck Series this weekend.
Oh, right. Nashville's not till the 27th.
That's right.
Or 25th or whatever. Yeah, the trucks are in Knoxville this weekend.
Knoxville, Iowa. And I was looking here.
Mm-hmm.
And there is, right here, entry list. Entry list for the Clean Harbors 150 at Knoxville. There are 37 teams for 36 spots.
That's it?
Since 38 teams are entered, 2 will miss the race. Figure out that math.
Okay.
We have 37 drivers and teams for 36 spots, but 2 will miss the race because there's 38 entered.
There's 38 trucks entered, but only 37 drivers listed so far. Probably to be announced.
Yeah, I didn't bother looking.
It's only Tuesday. You don't have to announce a driver or a sponsor till what? Thursday, really? Come on.
Which actually, I will pull up the entry list. Let me pull up the entry list page here to see if
who's driving
we can know anyone.
That's what I want. Is Larson driving the 7 truck?
It's loading.
Keith says thought a Cup driver or 2 would be in it. Well, that's what I'm wondering. The 7 truck, generally, it's Cup drivers in it most of the time.
All right, here we go. Okay, we do have one. Jordan Anderson is a TBA. He is going to crew chief his own car. He's not going to drive it. Okay. Let's see if we have any. Oh, we got another Team DGR. Actually, Todd Gilliland will be in that truck in the 17.
Isn't he already? Oh, no, he runs Cup now. That's right.
Yep. Rion brothers are actually a TBA as well.
Aren't they always?
Yeah. Jessica Friesen will be in the 62 truck this weekend.
That would be the 37th truck.
There's another TBA on the other Nice Motorsports, the 141. And a 147 is also a TBA.
So we don't have anyone listed for the 7, though. That's what I'm curious. Who's driving the 7?
There's no 7 truck listed.
Oh. Nice, Keith.
Yeah, so there's not. I was even expecting to have maybe some actual dirt guys as well, but.
Well, yeah.
I don't see.
But anything. You know what? I'm wondering, though, Doug, because it's a standalone event, Cup drivers aren't allowed. Sometimes they do that.
Yeah,
which is dumb.
but even though for oh, sorry, I do see in the 51 for Kyle Busch, Buddy Kofoid is back in that truck.
Right. Well, he's a dirt racer. He's a dirt racer.
Yeah, but I don't see, Bryson Mitchell in the G2G racing, and Braden Mitchell. I'm getting Sparks. So I'm guessing they are two dirt guys, probably local in the Knoxville area. But
No idea.
yeah, no idea either. But yeah, so I would say I'm looking forward to seeing that. But unfortunately, I guess I'll remind you now. You'll be doing a show alone next week.
Oh, or we won't do a show next week.
We won't do a show next week.
It's only
We thought
the
I
truck
was like perfect. We got an off weekend. They threw the Knoxville truck race in there, and I will be up in.
We don't do off weekends anymore, Doug.
I will be in Lake Nipissing. No, not in it. I'll be on it. Hopefully, not in it.
Well, that's how much moonshine you pack.
That'll be none. I have none.
Well, you can always pick up more.
Oh, I got none. But yeah.
All right, who do you like in the truck race? Yeah, see, I want to pick Stuart Friesen, but
but
you can't because he doesn't do that well in the dirt and the trucks for
we
some
won
reason.
Eldora the one year.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. We run a lot of dirt since then. So I'm not picking him. I'm hoping he wins because I don't pick him.
I'm
going to say John Hunter Nemechek.
I'm going with another KBM truck. I'm going with the 51 to go back to back this week.
Okay.
Because that Buddy Kofoid really he did really good at Bristol.
Yeah. Ben Rhodes did better.
Yeah. It was his first time in a truck.
Yep. So, and then, and then we're back in 2 weeks with the Cup guys in Nashville.
Yes.
I assume Cups and trucks in Nashville.
I think so.
Xfinity has their extended freaking 3 weeks off or 2 weeks off or
summer vacation.
Yeah, 3 weeks off. They're like the truck series. Let's run Daytona and take a month and a half off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, and debuting this weekend is the SRX series.
Oh, okay.
See, Keith's IROC comment. Bing, bing. Because Ryan Newman had posted a photo.
So we'll have, coming back off their off week, we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, the Superstar Racing Experience.
Long talk. Yep. So speaking of long talks, and we kind of mentioned this off air as we were talking. Today, Moody really got into it today, and a lot of people were calling in. Keselowski made a little bit of news, saying that we don't need the former 4 hours of practice, right? But he would like to see some practice back. Don't need a little more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, it should be a full happy hour.
Well, and that's like he said, he would like to see maybe like an hour of practice, because he said, and this was the interesting thing. He said now that he is an owner, this whole new thing they're doing, they're not really saving money, because what they're doing, what they're
money goes into Sims.
Well, exactly. What they're saving, not going to the track, they're just putting that money into the sim. So why not? Let's go to the track and get the actual feel of the car.
You know what I wonder all of a sudden? I wonder if teams still have those shaker rigs.
I don't know.
Which was a sim for the car. We have sims for the drivers, but that was almost 20 years ago. We were doing sims for cars, where they just bolt it up and just shake the cars apart with a simulated race.
Yeah, so he was saying he would like to see possible 1 to 2 hours, maybe hour and a half of a practice.
Well, especially where like this weekend where you're qualifying Saturday, racing Sunday. There's lots of time during that first day with only a truck race happening.
What he would like to see is to come back maybe between an hour and 2 hours on the Friday, qualify, bring back happy hour, not at 8 a.m., but bring back a happy hour, not that early, right?
Well, the problem with happy hour is then the cars have to go through tech again.
Well, he's just kind of putting he's getting that talk out there, because because there is a lot of guys that that you look at the way Kyle Busch ran last year.
Yeah, all you have to do is change the mounts, Keith. They mount it right onto the lug nuts area, onto the wheel studs. All you have to do is swap that
guy like Kyle Busch last year, where was he? You didn't see him all year.
Exactly.
Right? Now this year he's got a little bit of practice. He's sitting third in points.
Yeah, you can still do it. The car's suspended in the air, Keith. It's not sitting flat on anything.
But
you think the flat bottom is bad for a shaker rig? Exposed exhaust and frame rails and track bars. That's way worse for the shaker rig.
So
that part's hanging down.
So my thing is, I know
I would say a 1 hour practice prior to qualifying is good, because 1 hour gives you enough time to do race runs as well as some mock qualifying runs, and you give the teams 2 sets of tires during that hour.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But like I said, the interesting thing was that him saying they're not really saving money.
No. Every time they think, oh, we're going to save teams money. No, you're not. They're going to just spend it elsewhere. It's always been the case.
So,
it's like when they said, oh, we're going to put rev limiters on the cars, basically, which was by selecting the rear gear for the cars, which is effectively installing a rev limiter, so the motors don't turn 10,000 RPMs anymore, because guys are spending all this money on cylinder heads to keep valve springs together at 10,000 RPMs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? All the money then went into transmissions. And then they instituted, well, you got to run this gear and this gear. Your top 2 gears have to be a 1-to-1 on fourth and whatever, 0.73 or 1.73 for third, something like that. And it's now we're going to put the money into aero under the car or over the car. Like, remember, 10 years ago, I would pass a Roush hauler weekly headed up to Ottawa.
Yeah.
Weekly. And that's something he's shipping out of Livonia, Michigan, obviously, up to Ottawa. So he's shipping cars from North Carolina up to Michigan and then across, And that's just because the wind tunnel in Concord was always in use. Which I'd like to know where that is. We should find that one year. I wonder where that would be.
Is it the NASCAR wind tunnel?
Oh, it's not a NASCAR wind tunnel. It's a wind tunnel that whatever company that builds wind tunnels, we should build one down near Charlotte.
Well, because we and I even drove by it on a little tour I did, looking for an ABC store. Drove by the R&D center. We've driven by the R&D center like many times.
Yeah, it was right across from Trackhouse.
You got it right. Way to go.
I know. I almost said Fast Track.
Yeah.
Fast Track's the racing school. That's what it is.
It is.
So, by the way, the ABC, if you turn where the gas station, the ABC is just past the gas station.
I was already out doing other stuff.
Oh, okay. Because it's right at the track, basically. Took me 5 years to find it.
I was out doing other stuff.
Yep. So.
Looking for a non-Walmart.
I don't know if we have anything else to go on.
I don't know. I was kind of looking. There's really no other news. Like the trucks really had no news. Xfinity is, like Todd Gillen this weekend is making his first start for David Gillen Racing.
Whoop-de-doo. Somehow David Gilliland got inducted into the West Coast Motorsport Hall of Fame this past weekend there.
Yeah.
I think for what? Like, what, you just have to be from California to get in? Like,
I guess I gotta say congratulations to Austin Wayne Self. He will not be in the truck this weekend as his wife had a baby last weekend, so he's not racing this weekend. I thought that
was Sheldon Creed that had. I saw a photo of like people with a newborn. I thought it was
Austin Wayne Self. So Brett Moffitt will be in that. Will be in that truck this weekend.
Cool.
But yeah, for other news here, just kind of running down my stuff here.
A lot of stuff set. Other than you get the hey, I picked up Billy Bob's Moonshine to be on the quarter panel this weekend. Oh, sure, all right. Still 32nd. Because let's be honest, all the top teams have their sponsors locked up months ago.
Yeah. for the Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s car for Nashville. It will be Edmonds Donuts to promote Dads of Glory.
Okay. And let's be honest, the Nashville race, the Tootsie's car makes sense.
You think?
Hey, I don't understand that deal. Like, I've been to that bar, Doug. I don't understand. Like, yeah, it's like basically the original bar now for Broadway.
Well, you gotta remember Trackhouse is actually based out of Nashville.
Right. But like say, it's a bar.
It's a well-known bar.
It is probably one of the most well-known bars out there, but it's a bar. Like, that would be like the throwback where we see local car dealers sponsoring cars. It's kind of like that. Like, it makes sense at the Nashville race, but you're not sitting there, like we're saying, you know what? I need to go to Nashville just to drink at that bar. Although I have.
There's a bar at the Charlotte Airport. I just go to the Charlotte Airport to drink.
Exactly. And they don't even sponsor a car.
You would think they would.
Junior doesn't like to spend money. Actually, sorry. Kelly doesn't like
to spend money. But yeah.
Yes. And was owned by Tootsie. And it's the last vestige of Broadway left because Ernest Tubbs record store shut down a couple months ago. And now it's just, it looks like cheesy redneck Vegas where half the bars are owned by Kid Rock for some reason. And Dirk Bentley's bar, drinking his bar, threw up on his bar outside. Not on the bar itself, but on the building.
So you were getting drunk in a bar instead of drunk on a plane?
Oh, hell. No, I wasn't getting drunk. I was furthering the drunkenness, I think. By the time we started at Tootsie's, by the time I ended up at Dirk's at the other end of Broadway. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, last original. They've all been bought out, and it's so corporate. It's disgusting. There's no real dive bars anymore. That's for sure. They're the good bars. I don't want to go pay $9 for a Pabst. I don't want to pay 9 cents for a Pabst.
Yeah, well,
the biggest cost factor is the deposit on the can. That's the most valuable portion of that beverage, as far as I'm concerned.
So, yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
Nope.
Just, I would say the only other thing would be if you're in North Carolina, in Barco, North Carolina, go to the historical McHorney's auditorium and check out Live with the Surfers.
There we go. All right. On that note, he's been Doug. I've been Ben. You've been Keith and Terry and Guitar Man 45.
Just turning a romper room or something.
I Rock Zed Blues. Well, everybody that tuned in tonight. Might as well say hi to him. Mazel. Yep, that's everybody. And then the Lurker, which,
See you, Marcus.